My name is Janet, and I was 28 years old when my whole world turned upside down because of a lousy 2 minutes. I lived in a bustling city called Seattle, Washington, where the rain never seemed to stop, and everyone was always rushing around like their lives depended on it. I worked as an administrative assistant at a small but growing software company called Technova Solutions, run by my boss, Mr. Harlan Graves. Harlan was this slick, 45-year-old guy with a perfectly combed beard and a temper that could explode like a volcano. He owned the place, and he treated everyone like they were disposable napkins. But me, I was the backbone of that office. I handled all the scheduling, the client calls, the payroll entries, and even the coffee runs when things got crazy. I had been there for 5 years, starting right after my divorce, scraping by as a single mom to my 8-year-old daughter, Lily. She was my everything, curly-haired, always drawing pictures of us as superheroes. I worked overtime without complaint, covered for other people's mistakes, and made sure Harlan looked like a genius in meetings. People said I was too nice, too reliable, but that's what kept the lights on in our tiny apartment. Life wasn't perfect, but it was steady, and I was proud of holding it together for Lily. Then, one rainy Tuesday morning, everything shattered. I had dropped Lily off at school, but traffic was a nightmare because of a big accident on the freeway. I raced into the office, clocking in at exactly 9:02 a.m. Harlan was waiting by my desk, red-faced and yelling before I even hung up my coat. "Janet, 2 minutes late. Do you know what that costs this company? You're fired. Pack your stuff and get out." I begged him, explained about the traffic, promised it would never happen again, but he just laughed and called security. He made a huge scene in front of everyone, saying I was lazy and unreliable, that I was holding the company back. My coworkers looked away, too scared to say anything. I walked out with my box of personal stuff, tears streaming down my face, wondering how I was going to pay rent or buy Lily's school supplies. That was my nemesis, Harlan Graves. He had it all, the fancy car, the big house, and now he had crushed me over 2 stupid minutes. I was unsatisfied, furious, and desperate to fight back, but I had no idea how deep this rabbit hole would go. After getting fired, I threw myself into fixing this mess, but every step just dug me deeper into a pit. First, I applied for unemployment right away, but Harlan contested it, claiming I was fired for cause. The state denied me at first, so I had to appeal, spending hours on hold with bureaucrats while bills piled up. I started job hunting like crazy, sending out resumes to every office job in Seattle. Interviews came, but then the callbacks stopped. Turns out, Harlan had badmouthed me all over LinkedIn and to his industry buddies. One recruiter even told me straight up, "We heard you're not a team player from Technova." I was blackballed. Money ran out fast, rent was late, and I had to pick up extra shifts waitressing at a dingy diner downtown, feet aching after 12-hour days. Lily noticed I was sad. She stopped drawing her superhero pictures and asked why Mommy cried at night. I tried confronting Harlan directly. I showed up at his office a week later, polite as could be, asking for a reference or even my job back. He smirked through the glass door and had his assistant tell me to leave, then called the cops to escort me out like I was some criminal. Humiliated again. Desperate, I hired a cheap lawyer to sue for wrongful termination. We had a hearing, but Harlan's fancy attorney shredded my case, said my 2 minutes proved negligence, and he had logs showing other infractions he invented on the spot. The judge sided with him, and I owed court fees I couldn't pay. By now, the electric company shut off our power one night. Lily and I huddled under blankets with flashlights, eating peanut butter sandwiches. I sank so low, considering selling my grandma's wedding ring just to feed us. Friends drifted away, thinking I was cursed or something. Harlan's company boomed meanwhile. I saw it online, landing huge contracts while I scraped bottom. One night, staring at eviction papers, I felt utterly defeated, certain all was lost. My strength was gone, dreams shattered, convinced Harlan had won forever. But then, in that darkest moment, a spark ignited. I remembered something from my time at Technova. As the admin, I had access to all the financial files, backups I copied to a personal USB drive months earlier, just good habit in case of a crash. Digging through my old laptop in the dim light of a library computer, I found gold. Harlan wasn't just a jerk, he was a crook. The files showed he had been cooking the books for years, falsifying invoices, embezzling client funds into offshore accounts, dodging taxes on millions. He inflated software sales to investors, risking everything on lies. One folder even had emails where he bribed a city official for a contract. My heart raced, this could destroy him, but I was terrified. Whistleblowers get sued or worse. Still, for Lily, for every mom like me he crushed, I decided to fight back one last time. I risked it all. First, I anonymously tipped off the Internal Revenue Service and the Federal Bureau of Investigation with copies of the key files sent from a burner email at an internet cafe. Then, I contacted a journalist at the Seattle Times, a woman named Carla who covered corporate scandals. I met her in a park, disguised in a hat and scarf, handing over more evidence on a fresh USB. "This will bring him down," she whispered. Word spread fast. The story broke 2 weeks later. Front-page headlines screaming, "Technova CEO in massive fraud scheme." Federal agents raided the office, seizing computers. Harlan's investors pulled out overnight, clients sued, stock plummeted to zero. He was arrested in handcuffs outside his mansion, screaming denials to the cameras. His empire crumbled, company bankrupt, sold for pennies, employees scrambling for jobs. I watched from afar, power back on thanks to a waitressing bonus, feeling a rush like never before. But the climax hit when Harlan tried to claw back. My lawyer called. He sued me for theft of company data, claiming I stole the files maliciously. Court date loomed. He glared at me across the room, promising to ruin me again. I dug deep, found that last ounce of courage, and took the stand. "Your Honor, I was the faithful employee fired over 2 minutes. These files were routine backups." Harlan Graves is the thief here. My journalist friend testified. The feds confirmed the fraud. The judge threw out his lawsuit, calling it frivolous and fined him extra. Harlan's face crumpled. He lost everything. House foreclosed, wife left him, facing 20 years in prison. Poetic justice. He fired me in 2 minutes. I cost him his entire life. Now my new normal is better than ever. Whistleblower rewards came through, $500,000 from the government and a settlement from investors. Lily and I moved to a cozy house in the suburbs with a yard for her to play in. I started my own virtual assistant business, helping small companies stay honest. Coworkers from Technova reached out, thanking me for exposing the truth. Some even work for me now. I'm stronger, wiser, no longer the pushover. And the twist? Just last month, as I sipped coffee on my porch, a letter arrived, no return address. Inside, a crumpled photo of Harlan in his orange prison jumpsuit, with a note scrawled in shaky handwriting. "You win, Janet. 2 minutes was a mistake." I burned it, smiling, knowing revenge isn't just sweet, it's total victory.